Good morning. Charles is washing the Bigfoot for the first time since our big winter trip, and I've been working on the decoration of the Backsplash project. I decided to keep it simple, and I'm going for something that's artfully random, just looking for bits of color on the neutral gray background. I had these marbles left over from other art projects, and I used them as life points in a card game once upon a time. I took what I had and I divided them into size categories so that we could use the medium-sized ones and Charles would be able to just drill the same size hole over and over again instead of having to deal with multiple sizes. I am waiting to see what that looks like on the gray background. Fingers crossed it will be the effect I was looking for. Just a bit of color to make the backsplash not so boring. When Charles found robins trying to make a nest on the solar array, he decided to help them out by building a little platform. They apparently were very happy with the platform, and when we went away for the weekend, we came back and there was most of a nest. They're still working on that today. Good morning. We are back on the build. It's getting a little buggy here. It's the very end of May. We've had some very warm weather and plenty of rain. We took a week off doing other things, including spending some time with family. We even entertained people in the yurt, which was really exciting. It's starting to feel like a home inside. But for the yurt to really become a home, we have to finish out the inside. Charles is about to get back to work on the cabinets. He's going to try to get all of the face frames and hopefully all of the doors cut today. Meanwhile, the bird nesting season is also in full swing. I checked on the phoebes last week and they had 2 little white eggs in the nest. I checked on them again yesterday and they had 5 eggs in the nest. And the bluebirds, I checked on the bluebirds last week. The female was staying put inside the box, so I think she was still sitting on eggs. Today I put a camera on them, and they apparently must have little mouths to feed because both the male and the female are coming and going with food in their mouths. As the yurt gets more and more finished inside, the piles of construction materials get smaller and smaller. Some of you may remember that a year and a half ago, we bought a giant pile of tongue and groove pine lumber to finish the walls inside the yurt. And we wondered at the time what else we might use the lumber for beyond the wall panels.
But since then, it's been used to build the pocket door of the bathroom, as well as the bathroom vanity and the lower kitchen cabinets and drawers. And now the question is, will the pile actually last through the final project?
I may be a little short on the larger doors, but if I end up being short, I'm sure I can find some kind of scrap to scab onto it.
Are you enjoying this nice day?
I don't know how it got in here, but there's a garter snake in the back of the truck.
Okay, yeah, I know. Come here. There you go. One thing that we haven't talked about very often up here is that by building a habitat for ourselves, while we have increased the habitat for some of the local wildlife, given the birds a place to nest, we've also put up some hazards. And one of those hazards is the back window of the Bigfoot trailer. We had a few bird collisions last year, and at some point we were desperate enough to put a garbage bag over the window for a time. This year, we've had a few collisions as well. No fatalities that we know of so far, but the other day we went out and there were two male indigo buntings battling for control of our clearing. They were singing and chasing each other around. And then hours later, when we came home, one of those buntings was down on the ground and so exhausted he couldn't fly. He looked really bad. I was afraid he wouldn't make it. He did manage to fly away an hour later, and in hindsight, I think maybe he was fighting with his reflection in the window. So I went ahead and bought these non-adhesive stickers. They're cling plastic on one side, and there's a UV reflective coating on the other side. So the birds see a bright glowing white where we see almost nothing at all on the window. So fingers crossed, this should solve the problem.
Now that we're just a few months away from being ready to move into the yurt, we're buying appliances one by one. We got the laundry machine early because we really wanted to use it, but the rest of them we put off because we didn't want the warranties to expire before we'd had a chance to really use them. We did finally purchase our oven, which is basically a giant toaster oven. It is big enough to fit a frozen pizza. We also decided to go with a portable induction burner for cooking. If we decide to get a second burner, we could always do that. Our cooking style is pretty simple, so we decided to design our kitchen around us instead of the typical dream kitchen. One thing that was really important to us was to be able to vent over the burner. We have a fan built into the microwave, so Charles is working on the vent hood and the ducting above that to vent that out of the yurt. Good morning. It's supposed to rain for most of today, so we've got some indoor projects going on.
Charles has already glued together the upper cabinet door panels, so now he's working on the face frames. Then, hopefully by the end of this video, he'll have a chance to run all of those pieces through a planer and a joiner at his friend's workshop. And I'm painting the backsplash. Yesterday, we experimented with a prototype, and Charles ended up using a flat bottom router bit to drill holes about half as deep as the marbles.
Deeper?
Deeper. These boards have taken 3 coats of paint, and they may even require a little more touch-up after they go back on the wall, but I am ready to glue in these marbles. I'm using clear silicone. It seems to work beautifully, just a small dollop of silicone, and you couldn't even see it after the marble gets glued in. So, looking forward to seeing this on the wall. Meanwhile, Charles has coated all of the face frames in polyurethane, and he's put one of them up on the cabinets, but he's run over to his friend's house. He's borrowing a planer and a joiner to finish off the wood for the doors. What did you forget to film at Jeff's house?
I went to our friend's house and planed all of our lumber down for the doors to make them all the same thickness. And then I ran them all through the joiner to make straight edges on the side, so I make a nice straight, clean glue joint.